guys, and welcome back. So I'm still in the process of updating you all on everything that has been going on here over the last few months. I know the last big update I put out was in March, and that was when we brought our pigs home. So much has happened. I already updated you guys on Tim's surgery. If you saw that video, he had his back surgery on June 28th. Recovery is not going exactly as the surgeon anticipated. That's all I can really say about that for now. We're just taking things day by day and waiting to get some more images scheduled. But one of the big updates that I haven't talked about yet is our garden. We put out a video about what our goals for this year were. Of course, at that time, we didn't have a surgery date. We had no idea when it was going to be. We didn't know how much time we were working with or what we would be able to accomplish in that time frame. But the garden was one of the top priorities. We wanted to expand our raised bed garden, and we did it. We went from having 2 raised beds last year to 6 raised beds this year. So we tripled our number of beds, and we don't want to stop there. We want to double what we've got. So we want to end up with 12 total, at least, if not more, because we're just quickly learning that we need a lot more garden space. But I'm so excited that we were able to get it to where it is now, and I want to do a little garden tour with you guys. I want to sort of preface this by saying that I am a super rookie gardener. This is year 2 of having the raised bed gardens or gardening, trying to grow anything in my entire life. I am learning a lot as I go. There are a lot of things that I don't know and that I'm sure I'm doing wrong. Spacing is a really big thing. My garden right now is chaotic, but it is thriving. Nothing has died. So we're gonna call that a win. And like I said, we want to double the space hopefully for next year. We want to double the space. These beds are really easy to make the way that we've done them, to where I can do it as long as I have the materials. I can do it myself. So even if Tim's not able to help me, it would probably take me a lot longer, but I could definitely do it myself if I had to. So without further ado, let's take a look. So in the Homestead tour video, I showed you guys the garden beds that we had, which were these 2 originally. This one here and this one over here. That's all we had. Over the winter, we took a lot of rabbit manure. The main benefit of having the rabbits so far has been rabbit manure. So if you didn't know this, rabbit manure is like gold for your garden. You don't need to compost it before you put it in the garden. You can put it directly, take it from the rabbits to the garden. You don't have to put it anywhere for it to break down. It'll break down right in your garden. Rabbit manure has excellent levels of nitrogen, and you can tell which beds we put. Well, I mean, I guess now everything's doing well enough that you wouldn't really know. But in the beginning, you could definitely tell which beds had the rabbit manure and which ones didn't, because the ones with the rabbit manure just took off right away, and the other ones kind of took a little bit longer to really get going. So if you have rabbits and you didn't know how good the rabbit poop is, now you know. Use that rabbit manure. It is good stuff. So our entire garden setup, let me back up here, is we've got 2 sort of horseshoes. I wanted to set it up this way. I don't know what it is about this. I just love the look of it. So we've got 2 horseshoe shapes here, and I'm going to go through and show you guys what I've got planted. So in this first bed here, I've got everbearing strawberries. When I planted these, now I lost a few plants, because when I put these puppies in the bed, they died. I'm assuming it was they kind of went into shock a little bit, but some of them just straight up died. They looked horrible. I basically had them on hospice. They were end of life care. They were all super droopy. they looked really bad. So I know they don't look great right now, but if you had seen them before, you would know this is a huge improvement. So these are perennials. These are going to come back next season. I didn't really get any fruit from them. I don't know that I will. They're supposed to bear fruit for quite a while during the season, but right now I don't think that's going to happen. But they're looking so much healthier than they were before. To kind of bring them back, I used straw for mulch to help keep the moisture in because things were so dry, and I thought that was the right move. But what ended up happening was a lot of this straw started to sprout, and it was like weed city in here, so it was a hot mess. But these are my strawberries. And then we move on to cherry tomatoes. I have so many cherry tomatoes. We've had them looking like this for a few weeks now, and they're getting pretty good in size, but they are not ripening. I've never grown cherry tomatoes before, so I don't know if they just take longer. I don't know. But I've got, I mean, they're getting heavy, they're getting top heavy now, but I've got 4 cherry tomato plants. That was like the one request Tim made for the garden this year, is that I put in some cherry tomatoes. So I was happy to do that because why not? From the cherry tomatoes, in this little empty space here, I had some red onions, but they didn't make it. So this is just empty space for now. But I've got carrot seedlings. Originally, I put in my carrot seedlings earlier in the season. They were doing really great until the kids started digging around in here and dug them up. So I had none left. So I had to start all over. I have just the half long carrots. I planted them super duper thick, and I need to thin them out, but I feel like they're a little small to thin out yet. I have picked at them a little bit. If you can kind of see, I've thinned them out a little bit. I need to work on this more. Everything looks super dry right now. I am going to water. I water in the evenings, and it's about 8 o'clock in the evening right now, so I'm going to water when I'm done with the video. Moving on to the other half of this horseshoe, zucchinis. Last year, I planted our zucchinis in the ground. I planted them way over here where we've got the chicken coop, and they did terribly. So I wanted to put them in a raised bed, which Tim was like, that's crazy. I've never heard anybody put zucchinis in a raised bed, but I was like, watch me. I may have over committed a little bit with the zucchinis. I may have gone a little too hard. I've got 8 plants in here. So pretty much everyone in my life is going to get some zucchini bread for Christmas. I am going to give it away like Oprah gave away cars that one time. I've got some powdery mildew going on over here, and I'm not too sure how to fix that. I'm going to have to do some Googling, but I've just noticed this. It's kind of just starting to get kind of bad, so we're going to figure out what to do about that. But they have been producing really well. I've got so much already shredded in the freezer to make bread. That's a nice looking one right there. They're doing well. So we're going to try to fix this powdery mildew problem, but at least for now, they're still producing really well. Not all of them. Some of them are getting kind of mushy and gross. But others are doing really well. So we're just gonna, there we go. There's another one over there. So I've got at least 3 going right now. I've got 3 in the fridge, waiting to be shredded, and I don't know, another 2 or 3 worth that are already shredded in the freezer. So everybody is getting zucchini bread. That's it. And next to the zucchini, I have one random watermelon plant. It is getting big. It's finally starting to kind of sprawl out here. We are also getting some flowers on it. I literally bought it and put it in just to see if I could get it to grow. I personally don't even like watermelon. The rest of the house will devour it. I don't even like it. And I know that's weird. I know there's something wrong with me. I don't know. But I wanted to do it to see if I could do it. So it's taking a really long time. At this rate, maybe I'll have a watermelon to carve for Halloween. We have such a weird season up here. We really do. And I don't know how to make it make sense. But as we move on to the next horseshoe over here, I've got broccoli. Now this is what I'm talking about with spacing. This is chaotic. I also went too hard on the beans this year. I don't know. It really got away from me. I've got broccoli. I've got some that I've already harvested and is already starting to sprout new broccoli. Everything's looking so pretty. I went for what claimed to be a more heat tolerant broccoli. It was called Destiny was the variation. And so far it's been holding up a lot better than the broccoli last year. Last year the broccoli was not heat tolerant. As you can see, our garden doesn't have a ton of shade. I mean, it's kind of right in the middle of a super sunny area where there's not much shade cover. But this broccoli has done a lot better than last year's already. This guy's getting ready to be picked. I already picked the big one in the middle, and these are just now starting to sprout all around. Look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, rabbit poop, if you can see, works wonders. And then over here, I've got my beans. I have a mixture. I'm pretty sure, I'm not entirely sure because ADHD. I think half are green beans and half are black beans. There are some black beans and some green beans. I wanted to try to grow black beans so that I could harvest them and dry them and store them dried until I'm ready to use them. They aren't producing a whole lot yet. I'm getting beans here and there, but they are flowering quite a bit. I don't know if you can see, we're getting a lot of flowering, which means, in theory, we're gonna have a lot of beans, which is a good thing. I've got some celery over here. Again, this was kind of like I want to grow it to see if I can. I've got cabbage. I did have problems with some cabbage worms. I found cabbage worms laying eggs in here, and I kind of honestly just waterboarded them out in a moment of panic. So I don't think it's doing that great of a job. These were looking beautiful, and now I didn't notice how bad they're really getting chewed up. So I think I'm gonna have to consult some of my gardening friends to see about what I can do, if I can do anything to salvage them. At the end here is my little herb box. So I've got rosemary. I cut pretty much all of this down and dried it out and put it in a jar. And so it's starting to regrow pretty nicely. Same with this one. I've got some mint over here. I don't know if it's gonna make it, but our neighbor was kind enough to give me some mint. So I just planted that a few days ago. Dill, I have pretty much harvested almost all of my dill because I made pickles. I've got some more mint over here. These, I believe, were violets, and I don't think they were also from the neighbor, and I don't think they're gonna survive. Oops. I've got some basil over here. I've got chamomile that is going nuts. I'm harvesting chamomile daily. I believe this is more mint from the neighbor, and I've got lavender in here, which has also been doing really well this year as opposed to last year, and I've been drying that and storing it as well. We've got white onions over here. Last year my onions didn't even come close to forming bulbs. This year, if you can see, let me pick some weeds out of here. If you can see, they are doing better. They're starting to actually kind of look like onions. I think I just don't have a lot of patience. It feels like they're taking a really long time. I don't know if onions just are slow growing and I'm just super inexperienced, so it feels like I'm doing something wrong or what. But they are finally starting to actually look like onions, so I'm hopeful that maybe I didn't mess that part up. And last but not least, I've got my monstrosity Roma tomatoes. One of these, not all 4 of them, but one of them, don't ask me which one, is one of the ones I started from seed in the house, or in this spring. The rest of my started seeds, and they didn't do so hot. The beans did okay. I was able to transplant the beans and one of these Roma tomato plants, and that's it. So we should be getting, a lot of Romas this year. They're already, they're everywhere. They're getting big. They're all going to come in at once, and when they do, I am planning to make salsa. They have outgrown the cages. This is a hot mess, but there's not a whole lot I can do to fix it right now. It's kind of going to have to be this way for the rest of the season. It is already the beginning of August. We're at the end of the first week going into the second week of August. So there's not a whole lot I can do to fix it. We're just going to have to maintain and sustain for the rest of the season. And I've also got some peppers. My peppers did terrible this year. They did terrible last year. I think I'm just not good at growing peppers. Next year, I kind of want to devote a whole box to just peppers. I have some. I've got some little peppers. We're working on some of them. I've got some jalapenos. But overall, the tomatoes kind of ate this whole row of peppers. But nothing to write home about in the pepper department. But there's always next year. That's all I've got for right now. This is one of several updates that I want to get out because, like I said, we've been busy. Things have slowed down now considerably, but we have been really busy. We've gotten a lot done around here. This was one of the things I was really excited to share with you guys because it was one of the biggest things on our to-do list. So if you've watched this all the way to the end, thank you so much. If you've subscribed, if you followed us on Instagram or on Facebook, thank you. We appreciate it so much. Stay tuned for more, and bye for now.